What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good evening, everyone.
We'll give y'all a chance to come on in. We're gonna vibe out with y'all real quick, just like this for a hot minute while we let it feel y'all come on in. And while y'all doing that, I'm gonna let Shanell just welcome y'all on in. Vibe out to this song. Whichever.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations. We are so happy to be with you guys tonight. I think we have such a dynamic topic to discuss with you guys tonight. So please join the conversation. Share with your friends. Share this video in all your groups and on all your favorite social media sites. And get ready to partake in an outstanding conversation this evening. And just really wrap your mind around that. Think. And we're going to break it down into more layman's terms as well. But individualism versus collectivism, it's really deep when you think about it, especially with all of the things that are going on today. Individualism versus collectivism. What do you think? And as I said, share. Let's get all of our friends on and we can join the conversation. While we are waiting on Jeremy, I want to give a few shout outs. First of all, I want to give a super shout out to Tim Scott. He is an outstanding, amazing, spectacular member of Cocktails and Conversations group. You can find it on Facebook. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can connect with us on all your favorite social media sites.
For sure. Hey, ladies, Shanell.
Yes.
You know what I want to know?
What?
What are you drinking on?
Of course, it's always a nice glass of iced lemonade.
Iced lemonade.
Yes.
Very nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to know what you're drinking on. Please go ahead and post it in the chat. You know, this is Cocktails and Conversations. So we endorse. I endorse this message, okay? We're trying to figure out which way my camera is. There we go. I endorse this message.
All right.
Wonderful cocktail in your hand, and come on in and chill out with us. Like Shanell has already warmed you and welcomed you. We're so excited to be back with you this evening. And it just seems like for me, I was telling Shanell, man, I'm never nervous, y'all. I'm never really nervous, right? But I just had like the longest day, and it just bled. It seems like one event bled into the other, and I'm just like, it's time to get going. It seems like we were just here yesterday, you know. But that's the beauty of when you're having fun and when you enjoy what you're doing. And trust and believe, ladies and gentlemen, we really do enjoy sharing the hour and a half that we do with you. But tonight, and first of all, I apologize for being 5 or so minutes late. That was on me, not Shanell. Don't blame Shanell's. Look at her. How could you ever blame her for anything? How could you blame her for anything? You can't. Put it all, blame it on me. Say it's my fault. I don't know the rest of the words.
Uh-oh.
You know the rest of the words? You know the words?
Right on.
Oh, okay. Well, you said it like you knew the words. And like I'm enjoying, and I want y'all to understand when y'all come on here, the cocktail that you see in my hand is really the first one that I start out. I don't like drink a whole lot before I get on the show. So I know y'all probably like, gosh, he seems like really wired. That's my natural. That's just my natural, y'all. Like really is my, okay, here's what we need to do. Like really real talk. We need y'all to like tag people. We want, last week, we had great viewership, but we know we can do better, okay? We have one of the most dynamic shows, I would like to say, I think that's fair to say, most dynamic and thought-provoking shows that's happening right now. There are other lives going on, but a lot of those lives ain't talking about nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. They want to know, who twerks the best or just some dumb stuff. Beyonce versus who cares? None of that matters. But what we're talking about tonight and what we speak about every week, it matters. Why? Because this is all about our community. This is the community that we're building. And so we basically We talk about the things that's on your minds. That's why this is the best show. Not so much because it's me and Shanell, even though we do make dynamic hosts. This show is dynamic because if it's on your mind, it's on ours, and we talk about
We're talking about it.
You know, so tonight we're talking about individualism versus collectivism. And please be reminded, tonight we're only going to be for an hour, guys. So if you have people that you want to tag, definitely, please get them in here, tag them, let them know we're here. Drop your comments, your thoughts. You know, we love reading your comments. We love involving you in the conversation. And we're just going to have a great time. This subject is really heavy. Like, it's heavy, y'all. Individualism versus collectivism. So I think the first thing that's in order is for us to really start by establishing a working definition of these two terms. What does it mean when we say individualism, and what does it mean when we speak of collectivism? So if you don't mind, allow me to tap into my medulla oblongata. Actually not. I just copied these definitions from the internet. But allow me to share with you the definitions as provided by dictionary.com. Okay. Individualism is the habit or principle of being independent. All my ladies, independent. What you gonna do, Shanell?
Put my hands in the air.
Yeah, okay. You there. Okay. So yeah, the habit or principle of being independent or self-reliant. I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. I don't need nobody. It's just me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. That's what I found out. And there ain't no need to cry. I think it's what she said. Because from now on, I'm going to be my own best friend. I'm an individual. Individualism.
Jeremy, do not make that about gender. Do not make it about gender, because it's not just women who are focused on their individualism. So don't do that.
Hold on. I did that because how many individualism songs that men have? I'm not saying that only men think this way. I'm not saying that at all. But that was the first song that was ever so easily able to pull out the hat. Because the theme that I think, oh man, see, you got me right. You fighting me already, Shanell, but I'm ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we knocking it, we rocking it, we ready to fight. Okay. No, but for real talk. Well, you know what? Should we go ahead and establish the definition of collectivism too?
Yes.
Let's go and do that. Collectivism, okay, would then be the practice or principle of giving a group priority over the individual.
Yes, it's pretty much the same. It's similar to the definition that I found. It said collectivism is a value that is characterized by emphasis on cohesiveness among individuals and a prioritization of the group over oneself. So yes, my definition that I found and yours are pretty similar. But also I want to talk about the values that collectivists hold. It says collectivist values include honoring their parents, their elders, the social order. You know, you and I we talk about that a lot. National security, self-discipline, politeness, and obedience. So those are some values to think about.
Say that last part one more time.
The last ones I said were national security. You know, you're very political. Self-discipline, politeness, and obedience. But I wanted obedient to who? To what?
That obedience word has never sat well with me. When I think of obedience, I think of dogs for some reason.
Woo.
Obedience just does not do it for me. Like, but respect and
yes,
all the other ones that you mentioned, I can rock with. So now that we know what we're talking about, individualism versus collectivism, I guess my first question for you and the audience would be, generally speaking, which one do you side with personally? Which one do you value? Do you place value in?
Okay, and it's not because I am a woman. It's part because I am a woman in the society that I live in, but not because I was born a woman.
Mm-hmm. What's up with the disclaimer?
At this point in my life, I would side with individualism. Mm-hmm. Because in a different society, in a different time where as a woman, I would mainly depend on my husband to support me in a lot of different areas and make decisions for a family, then you would go. And I think that's where that obedience comes in. It would tie into some of those marital rules that I would have went with collectivism. But in this day and age, in this society, I'm going to go with individualism.
Okay. Well, Shanell, just so you know, with your individualized state of being, we have a few people that say, let me see, is this Tonight? Wow, who is that sexy woman? I think that's from Tonight.
Well, they only show comments from Tonight.
Okay, well, they only, okay. Want to make, okay, then, hey, Cherie Turner. Hey again. I love you too, Cherie. Let's see. So someone thinks that you're a sexy woman. They want to know.
Hi, Don.
Who is that sexy woman? Let's see. Don says, baby, each week she brings extra life. Okay. With her individualized female self, but not because she's a woman.
It's not because I'm a woman.
Not because she's a woman. Has nothing to do with that at all. Okay. Nothing. Jeremy Johnson and Shanell. Hello, Otto. Good morning.
Good morning,
you, brother. Shanell makes a dynamic host. You are Don, you're a hater. You're a hater, but I love you. You know, I'm just going to return that hate with love. That's how I do. Mm-hmm. So Mark Davis says, hello, beautiful one. Hey, in the middle of the barn. Hey, beautiful woman. And then he says, he said, women and men though. Okay. I guess that's about being individualist. Is that what he's?
I hope so.
Okay. Mark then also said the pretty ones always are argumentative.
No. Okay. Good evening, Mark. But no, that is not true. That is an opinion, and that's your perspective. That was last week's show. We talked about opinions and perspectives. So just to make a connection, no. But thank you for all your compliments.
Wow, that's funny. That is funny. That was a good. That was last week's topic, though, for real. Is there a middle ground? If so, what is that called?
Can I address this?
Sure. Okay. Absolutely.
So, good evening, Dawn. For me, even though I err on the side of individualism, I also believe at certain times we need to focus on the overall group, or it could be within your community or society as a whole. Sometimes collectivism is best, but I think it's based on the situation, because you can't always put someone before yourself. That's just like when you're on the plane and you have to save yourself. You have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help save others. So I definitely believe it's based on the situation.
So cool. So I want to respond to that same question that I asked you, which was, which do you place more value in, if there is such a thing? Maybe you don't place, more value in one over the other. Maybe you place equal value in both. I think I don't know if that's possible, but it's at least worth attempting to. But I certainly agree with you, Shanell. I think for me, at this point in stage in life, I definitely know that I value being an individualist. There's just certain things, certain characteristics, certain advantages that I believe come with thinking as an individual. I've never been one for groupthink, I've never been one for, because it's put out there, let me go ahead and just all of a sudden think like the masses, act as the masses, do what the masses do, and operate as a collectivist. Rather, I value the fact that my dad taught me a long time ago as a kid Jeremy, if you don't think for yourself, someone else will think for you. And so I think that school of thought has definitely prepped me well to be a strong individualist. Now, at the same time, I do value collectivism. I think, as you mentioned, that there are times, and we're going to probably get into that a little bit later in the show, there are times when it is time to say, you know what, while I definitely value being an individual, while I know that I have the right to think for myself and to think independently and to operate independently, you know what, I might need to just kind of reel it back, reel me back in a little bit, tell my ego, take a seat a little bit, and let's join the group and do what is right for the greater good, for the greater group.
Yes. Guys, don't mind me. I'm sharing, just like I hope that you are sharing the show with all of your friends. Tag some of your friends. That's what I was just doing. So please forgive me, because the conversation only gets better when we have more friends in the conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to know what you guys think. Definitely. Please. Hey, Earl says, sorry for the delay, brother. There's no need to apologize. We just thank you for being here. And if you can, tag some of your friends, Earl. But we're discussing tonight, we are discussing individualism versus collectivism. That's what we're discussing. Individualism versus collectivism. I found a very interesting quote that says, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. I'm going to read that again. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Shanell, what's your take on that quote? What's your thought?
Can I hear that one more time?
Girl. No, I'm just joking. Yes. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Thoughts?
Well, my thought is that is true. You get up each morning to be your best self. I've always felt like I've saw other people get into situations where they lose their self and they begin to act as that other group of people, whether it is a group of friends, their coworkers, or people in a social organization. And then you lose the authenticity about yourself. So for me, yes, the best thing that you could do would be to be your authentic self and be unapologetic about that also.
Be unapologetic about it, you say?
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay. Let's get into some more of these comments and see what they say. Shanell, why don't you rattle them off? I think I've rattled off a few.
Okay.
Beautiful voice.
Mark Davis said, women and men used to be about teamwork, but even now in marriage, people are looking to protect themselves, hence focus on individualism. And I agree, but I disagree with Mark, because I think it's been pit for pat, seriously. Well, this has been done to me, so this is how I'm going to protect myself now. I'm going to look out for me. When you have to be vulnerable and build some form of trust to think as a collective, because you got to know that we all have a common goal, a common mindset. We're going in the same direction.
I want to piggyback on Mark's comment. You said that let's go back. Where is that comment? I want to put that up. So he specifically focused on marriage. My question would be for you, Mark. And Mark, if you want to join in, if you would like to be added to the conversation, I'm going to post a little link here. Nope, that's not it. Hold on.
And I've also posted one on my page as well.
So you can snag it off of Shanell's page, or you can snag it right here. Mark, this is for you specifically, and anyone else. If you would like to join us in the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, the link should be posted just below, and all you have to do is click on that link. We'll see you in the back room, and we'll get you on. Especially if you're pretty or handsome.
Everyone is invited to join this conversation. Good evening, author Lamar Wheeler.
Yes, everyone is, but I'm an individual and I like saying funny stuff. And what I am, Shanell?
Yes.
Unapologetic.
Amen.
Amen. And touche. Cheers. With your lemonade. Where's your drink?
My lemonade is here.
There you go. Cheers. Clean.
Drinking natural lemonade, like I'm trying to do this natural look today. I wasn't sure how it was going to be received, but okay, I'm going with the flow.
I think the audience receives you very well every week, Shanell. It's just something about your persona and your glamour that just makes people naturally drawn to you. Yeah. Must be nice. I have to do a whole lot to get people to be drawn to my old big lips self, but it's okay.
Oh, you have that energy that draw people from around the world, and I'm being serious. You have friends in other countries. Don't play. That energy just seeps out across the world.
Well, amen. I thank God for the seepage.
So Jeremy, Mark also says that he agrees that he wished more folks would allow themselves to be vulnerable. Thank you, Don. Don, I'm just going to have to marry you with all the compliments because a girl can only take so many of them before I start hunting you down. Mark, do you think that's what it is? Okay, I'll try that during the week, and I'll let you guys know if the lip gloss made a difference.
Hey, so I was like you, Shanell. I'm constantly inviting people into the conversation because we have such a lively conversation, and I just feel like more and more people should be engaged in what we're discussing. So I don't even know, honestly. I can't remember if I completed my thought, and that was on me. But I wanted to ask Mark, no, I did. I think I asked. Based on Mark's comment, my question is: in a marriage, does individualism should that even have a place? Should there be such a thing as individualism in a marriage, or once you get married, is it all about operating as a collective group? Okay. Inquiring minds want to know. Ooh, Shanell, the things your mouth don't say.
Okay, because I want to say I do believe individualism has a place in marriage because it needs to be two individual people living two individual lives.
Okay.
And then they are coming together collectively in that relationship that should last a lifetime. So if you don't have your own life, then you're going to be dependent on the other person too much. You're going to become miserable. And that's just my opinion. If you are married or you have been married and you want to share your thoughts on that, please chime in, put it in the comments, jump on, click the link and jump on live and explain it. Jeremy, so I'd like to hear your thoughts now.
Janelle, I think this is going to be one of those weeks where we really do function super well as a dynamic duo. And instead of you marrying old crusty head Dawn, you might want to consider marrying me because right now I'm in total agreement with you. And that's usually not the way it works. Usually you're on Team West and I'm on Team East or North and I'm on Team South somewhere. But I absolutely agree. I think that the only way a marriage can truly function is if the individuals who enter into the marriage have a strong sense of individualism. Yes. I think if you go into a marriage hoping to discover your identity, honey, that marriage is doomed for failure. You're setting that marriage up for the okie doke. Okay, that was like. Yeah. Was that last week's conversation? No, that was 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Ended up with an okie doke. Okay, no, you need to go in that marriage with a strong sense of this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I expect to get out of this marriage. This is what I can bring to the marriage, so forth and so on. I feel your energy like you got something to say.
I just wanted to say, you said what I was getting ready to say because that individualism helps you in what you bring to the table.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think when both individuals operate like that, when both individuals come with a strong sense of individualism, but then understand that, once they tie that knot, it is about working as a collective team, man, some sparks are bound to fly.
Yes,
Some
definitely.
sparks are bound to fly. And I think that's a great thing. And but I think, so in thinking of that and in understanding that, you know, thinking about the divorce rate and where we are as a country now, I think the coronavirus has probably helped the divorce rate out just a little bit. I think it's made the divorce rate slow down just a little bit.
Oh, okay. I
In
was
fact,
wondering.
I read something a few days back that it's being thought that, whereas people would normally probably be proceeding with divorce, with divorce, they're now thinking more cautiously because they're now thinking about, well, where am I gonna go? Where would I go? Do I really have anywhere to go? Can't really even, the courts are closed, so the proceedings can't even really happen, not unless they're doing like an online divorce type situation, maybe for extreme emergencies. But I do think that, let's say, barring coronavirus or prior to coronavirus, the divorce rate in this country is astronomically high. And my question for you is, Shanell, do you think that maybe perhaps there's a percentage of those divorce cases that are the result of too many people, too many married folk thinking too individually and not enough collectively?
And I would have to agree with you. I do believe that is what it is. One is just the availability of so many other people. As soon as someone does a few things that you may not agree with, instead of someone taking time and putting in the effort to work on this love that they said they would have forever, they just like, I'm out of here. I can move on to the next.
I wrote a song about it, and here it go. I really did write a song. I wrote a song a couple of years back called "Is It Over?" We got Dr. Mark that's ready to. Dr. Mark. Now, is he really a doctor?
Yes.
Come on, okay. I didn't know if he just, because you can write anything in. So because it
No, I
sounds.
can't false flag. No false flagging.
What's that, brother?
No false flagging. Can't false flag.
No false flag on the play. All right.
Yeah.
So it's good. Well, first of all, good morning.
Hey, good morning, evening.
There you go. Talk to us, Dr. Mark. What is your take on what you have been hearing thus far?
Well, I think the most important thing is you have to enter a marital contract or any kind of relationship with an agreement to piggyback on some of the values that you guys have already mentioned, like being your best self, wanting to pursue things for the sake of the collective good. Some of the things you already mentioned. Can you do that and be an individual? Sure, I think you can, but there has to be a balance between getting past your own trauma and also understanding how your interdependence with another person is actually beneficial to your individualism. So that's just my take on it.
Well, that was well said. I do want to remind the viewers of your last comment when you said women and men used to be about teamwork, and that's similar to what you're saying now. But then you continue to say, but even now in marriage, people are looking to protect themselves, hence the focus on individualism. Yeah. And I do believe that, but I believe the world that we live in now makes it easier to choose yourself over anyone else. So you really have to be open and vulnerable and trust. It has to be like, we have a shared mindset. We have shared goals. That's where the strength and collectivism will come out in that relationship. But if you don't really work on those things together to have that group think, whether it's your family, your marriage, your workplace, or your community. And this conversation started that we're having tonight is because the things that are going on in our Black community, our Black and brown communities. And it's a lot of memes or posts that are stating that we have to come together and make a difference. However, you know, we talk about it, but we're not really being about that work. So
Yeah. I think, you know, from the time, you know, and being an educator, one thing I noticed from the time children are entering preschool all the way up through post-secondary education, the society that we live in focuses on individual achievement and goals. We don't teach interdependence as much as we teach independence. You know, we teach go to college. You know, we even are starting to incorporate personal finance into a lot of the curriculum. But what we're not doing as well is teaching, you know, how to love. You know, is there curriculum for that? Is there a class for that? You know, how to be kind. You know, we have certain kinds of what we would call positive behavior intervention systems, or different setups in school districts that allow for these kind of teachings. But even from, I bring up school districts because even from your youth, these kind of ideologies are promoted, and then what we have are adults who do not understand collective dynamics, even from friendships to
yeah.
classmates, and let alone, you know, putting someone in a marriage contract or relationship. You know, I had a friend, a very close friend of mine, say, um, "Yeah, I want to be married, but divorce is an option." You know, and to say that before they even got married, that to me screamed, you know, this is not
You're not ready.
yeah, you're not ready for this.
You going? It's like he's going into the marriage like, oh, but I'm about to get out this joint.
Yeah.
I'm working
But
on.
here's the irony. That person was taught that concept by their parents who are married. And their parents have been married over 30 years. And they're I don't know, I'm not gonna say distaste or buyer's remorse, but their feelings about marriage 30 years later, as opposed to when they got married, have changed based on societal norms. And so that generational curse that they're putting on to their children has, you know, been put in the minds of millions of people around the globe. You know, that, well, my parents did that, but I don't have to tolerate that. I don't have to take that.
Jeez.
That's just too much.
I want to shift the conversation a little bit. Um, let's see. Let's make sure we've gotten everyone's comments real quick. Yes, it should be a place of. Let's see. Though Mark said that, but it has its place. Don was saying it has its place. I think he was saying individualism has its place. Amen. You said it. Don said. Let's see here. Don, come. Okay, you talking to Don. So forth and so on. I want to shift the conversation a little bit. So we've kind of been talking about individualism and versus collectivism as it relates to, say, like close relationships, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of deal. I want to, let's see if we can broaden the scope a little bit. And Shanell, you kind of touched on it. This whole conversation has come about as a result of you know, just some of the events that have happened over the last week, and people discussing just the need for us to work more together as a community to impact more communal changes, more global, you know, um, to be more collective in our thoughts and in our actions as it relates to events and goings on that really impact us more as a whole. You know, specifically, I can think about, you know, specifically this week, and I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, I was really unable to have a super productive day. I started out very productive. Yeah. And then someone inboxed me a video of, and I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but the video of Ahmad Avery, I think his last name is, being, what I want to say, lynched
Yeah.
in broad daylight by two white men. Now,
doom fulfilled here. You say that, man.
They
I
will.
don't know what I'm saying.
I'm sharing.
Oh no,
I'm trying to share this on my
And
phone
we
at the same time.
appreciate that, Dr. Art. We appreciate
absolutely,
that.
I'm
absolutely.
not experienced like you guys.
Don, Don, if you want to come in, let us know, Don. We can use it'll be 3 men and a lady if you come in, Don.
Author Lamont Wheeler said he'd like to join in the conversation. I did tell him to click the link. I don't know if he's in the back room.
He's not, because I would be able to see it, but he does have the link and everything.
Yes.
All right. So we'll come on in, brother, when you're ready. We are ready to have you. Just come on in the back room and we'll get you on in. This lynching, man, it did so much for me on an emotional level. Like, I really had to draw back, because I know that had I allowed my emotions to take I was super thankful yesterday that I'm licensed to carry, and I don't actually have a gun just yet. Like, I was so super thankful, because I just felt like yesterday would have been one of those days where my individualized foolish mind would have gotten me into some serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But to really dissect that situation and address where we see ourselves. First of all, where do we see if we even see ourselves in that incident? Or do we see ourselves individually disconnected? Like, oh, that didn't have anything to do with me. That was him. That was his family. When I think of individualism operating as it relates to that situation, that's the mindset, I feel like that is what the mindset, what the verbal undertones would be. That's that family. Man, I'm so sorry. God bless them. I hope they're okay.
Prayers
Maybe
going up.
Prayers
going up and all those other
prayers going up.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me, that's individualism, viewing that situation from an individualistic viewpoint. Is that where we need to be? Or at this point in time, with that situation, honestly, just being one of so many like it. And certainly over the course, it really took me back to Trayvon Martin, honestly. And I was there. I can't recall where I was living at the time, but I know that I felt very strongly that I had to be a part of that protest situation. When, and I think I want to say I drove. I think it was down in Florida.
Yes, it was.
It was. I don't remember what part, but I know that I had never been to that part before, but I said, I've got to go, because this is greater than me. I'm a part of this community, this collective situation, because what affects one, in a sense, it does affect another, and us as a collective. So my question for the group, for our audience, and for you guys is, concerning this situation, is operating from an individualistic standpoint where we need to be, or do we need to see an overwhelming need for us to put our individualistic views aside and say, you know what? Hold the hell up. It's time to operate as a collective front.
Yes. Well, Jeremy, I definitely believe it's time for us all to come together. It's going to take more than campaigns. It's going to take us going to speak to our government officials and make some laws become, just have some laws change, for one, because the people who did that heinous crime, even though it's not considered a crime at the moment, I feel like it's a crime. It's not.
They got arrested today, by the way.
It's not seen as that, but we got to wait for the outcome, because sometimes people moved and to do certain things just to make people feel like, okay, if I do this, then they'll be okay. And then after a while, it'll disappear. Nothing really comes of it. So we have to make sure we move in a way that something comes from it. Laws are changed, And even after a law is changed, that we continually work together to make sure these things don't happen anywhere.
Absolutely. What about you, Dr. Mark?
Well, Jeremy, I think just to piggyback on what Shanell is saying, the reality is our laws have made on paper some great advances in the last 50 years, the overarching concern I have with it is we're going to need an all hands on deck approach at this point.
Yes.
Individualism is great, collectiveness is great, but either way, let's get some action. Let's get an agenda. And I think that what we're missing as a people is strong infrastructure when it comes to owning and operating our own communities, and not just low income communities of color. Because when we think of communities of color, we think of the trap, we think of the hood, we think of the Section 8s. We don't think of the professionals, because most of us who are professionals, the first thing we do is get away from that kind of situation. And rightfully so. I was having a conversation earlier about this, because when it comes to safety, criminal activity, raising children in effective schools, what parent who has the means wants to allow themselves to be subject to something that's less than? And so we're at a point where we are screaming for more of the I Promise LeBron schools. We're screaming for more of the Black police chiefs that make sure that our communities are policed by people of color. But there has to be a coordinated effort to know that these are safe zones where you can live and thrive as a people. And we simply just don't have that yet. Not widespread. I mean, we have communities like Prince George's County in Maryland, and we have some out in LA that, they are tight-knit community of affluent Black people. But this is not something where every city you go in America, or every state, if I go stay in this part of the city, I'm good. And it's Black good. Not I've got over to the other side and, I'm hoping that nothing happens to me today.
Yes. So I just want to say something. So it seems like we're looking to develop a culture that privileges family, community, and the community over oneself or one's own needs. How do you think we're going to get to that place? What needs to happen? I know what you just said, Dr. Mark, and that's definitely a good start to develop an agenda. But when something that you said that stood out to me was developing our own communities. And Jeremy, you and I have had conversations before about buying property. And I think that's something you were saying, have a group of people come together and buy property. And I think that's one way to start to develop our own communities. If us as professionals can come together as a collective and begin to say, this is a neighborhood that we're going to buy back, and where all those properties could be owned by minorities. And we try to develop a positive culture within that community. That would be a definite great start to changing the way our people have to live within their communities.
I absolutely think you're right, Shanell. I think that's one of the most impactful ways we can definitely, create this shift, this paradigm shift in our narrative right now. Buying our communities back. I really do get sick of seeing, when the others, they leave an area, they go away, they shift to this area, and then they decide, I'm so tired. I'm tired of living here now, and I want to come back. And then they come back to this side, and then now they start making laws and making the people that have lived in these areas uncomfortable because they are now tired of where they, it's so, yes, ownership in our own communities, I think, is a great start. I think if we shrink that down just a little bit more, ownership in our homes.
Okay.
I grew up religious. At 45, I'm not so much focused on being religious now. Oh, there we go. I think we have somebody coming in. Let me just shrink this.
Okay, he shrunk himself away. When they come back, when he gets the guest out of the back room, one of the things I want us all to really reflect on or to think about is we're saying that we have to work as a collective, but are we willing? And I'm saying we because I have to think about this too. Are we willing to change our own plans and our own goals to accommodate the collective, everybody? Because as individuals, we all get up every morning. We have our own plans. We have our own goals. So we have to say, how do I fit my plans or my goals into the needs of the collective, or do I just completely push my goals and plans to the side and focus on what's best for us all?
I think there has to be like in our community, and rightfully so because of our religious and spiritual background, we wait for the Moses of the Israelites to come and lead us out of Egypt, so to speak. And this is a new century. We have a lot of new technologies, but we all have a common, there's not a black person, not many, that you can talk to that will not agree with some of the things that are the ills of our society and what we think should happen. The thing is, after we get through talking about it, we all go back to our corners and we all get back on our grind. So the question is, when do, as you said, Shanell, when does our grind become part of a collective manifesto, so to speak, to say, this is my part in society and this is what I'm doing to help build our communities, being able to attach ourselves to that.
I want to chime in, and sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I think I hit the wrong button trying to bring Mr. Playwright on. Mr. Playwright, can you hear us?
Yes, that's Mr. Wheeler, Lamont Wheeler.
That's Mr. Playwright.
I'm jealous of the beard. I'm jealous of the beard already.
Can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
So I wanted to make sure it's not just me. You know how I hit the little button the other day, Shanell.
Okay. Yes. So you have to work on you had your mute button on. Noel just sent in a comment, and I want to read that as we wait on it. Noel said, we're too afraid of dying that we're not living. And that's a mouthful. We're out here killing each other. Every other race looks down on the black. I'm frustrated that we're not frustrated enough to say enough is enough. We have every right to have a seat at the table. It must be the Haitian in me.
I love it.
Noel, for sharing.
I love that, brother. I do. I want to say that, and before I got disconnected, I was about to mention spirituality. I think that's largely missing in our community. We're so quick to go to church and Jesus. I'm still trying to figure out who this Jesus person is that people feel like they have to pray to in order to get to God, in order to make a blessing happen. Like, and no disrespect for anybody who respects, who believes, who goes and gets in their Easter Sunday dress and goes to church and do the Jesus thing. But it's like we have got somehow we keep praying to this Jesus character, and we still keep losing our black men.
Yeah.
We still keep losing our black women. We still keep losing our black babies. At what point is the Jesus character going to swoop down from heaven and rescue us? You know what I'm saying?
Jesus already gave the instruction. He said, "Faith without works is dead." So you can pray all you want. If you're not putting that work in, I hear you.
That is my point. We have to do the work. We have to, something. It was interesting. I posted a video this week of, granted, I got some lettuce from Kroger this week, and a roach was in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't do roaches like that. You know what I mean? I was mad. Roach was in the lettuce. 1,000 hits, 1,000 views on a freaking video with a roach in the lettuce. But it's so hard to get 50 people on this post, on this broadcast, where we're actually striving to come up with solutions as to how we can be a better, stronger, more viable community. There's something about our value system that has been displaced.
Yes.
And I think that the powers that be knows that. I'm so sick of hearing Black people say, we got something for you. Come up in my hood. Your two little guns ain't got shit, excuse my language, on what some of these powers have been hoarding and stockpiling for years and years. And not that should be the solution per se, that we go into this gun battle. But my point is, until we, as Noel said, get this notion of dying out of our heads. And I understand we all want to live, we all want to be here for our families, but at what point do we say, you know what, the greater good, I'm willing to set aside my fear for the greater good, for the bigger picture. At what point do we say that and become more than just a mouthpiece, and we put our money where our mouth is? We put our action where our mouth is. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna shut up and let the next person come in. Regarding this one situation with Ahmad, I encourage people. What we can do what we can. Mm-hmm. Anybody can write a letter. How many of us have just, taken 20 minutes out of our day to write a letter, to express our concerns? What little that we can do have we done?
Yes.
I think the Black community, I think there's a lot of people that have ideas. I've heard people doing runs in honor of him. I've heard a lot of things. But, the problem is with us as a people, we protest, we collaborate on those activities, and then we move on. We've seen it time and time again since Trayvon. We come together, we get angry, we tear up our own communities sometimes, and then we move on. Mm-hmm. But when are we going to actually put the plan in motion that's going to actually change the game? When are we going to hold banks accountable? I'm withdrawing my money today, and I'm going to a Black bank today until something shakes, and I expect that Black bank to give me that small loan that I need to buy back the block, because those white folks that you talked about, Jeremy, in those gentrification situations,
I didn't say white.
Affluent. I'm sorry.
I mean
I'm
white.
Not politically.
No, I mean white. I do mean white.
In those gentrification situations,
mm-hmm.
there are who are.
Dr. Davis is frozen.
Keyword was said.
as my daughters would say, his FBI agent heard him. They always say that.
Facebook has their trigger word. There we go. That ain't accidental.
I lost you for a second.
We got you back. That's all that matters.
I was saying that those people are being backed by large banks, and when a lot of us, we want to do something, but we don't have the financial means or acumen to really go out there and get that money. We drug dealing, we doing other things, we hustling, we selling stuff, we asking for cash apps, but at the end of the day, when it's time to get millions from a bank, how many of us can actually go in there and do that?
Yes, not many.
Yeah,
but in the words of Jay-Z,
I hate to put stuff on. I hate to put stuff on athletes and entertainers, you know what I'm saying? But really, when it comes to means, those are our, heroes, to some degree. If they just had the direction, and a lot of them do things we just don't know. A lot of them do things, but I don't think it's necessarily as coordinated as it needs to be to make that strong difference.
They probably go back more into their community where they grew up, or also the places where they work, the states that their teams are in, they may do things there as well. Real quick, I wanted to share what Phil said. I'm religious too, but I ain't stupid.
Yeah.
He also said other people and Black people are educated differently, and it shows. They are taught about investing, owning property, and building exceptional credit. And he said credit is wealth.
And it is.
Mm-hmm.
Were we able to get our Mr. Playwright in? No, still no audio?
We still don't hear you.
Make sure you don't have your audio turned down on your laptop. That's what I did one time. Check your laptop. Make sure you don't have your audio turned down on your laptop. He said something's going up and down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we can't hear you.
Loose your Satan, as my mama would say. Loose your Satan. Satan, take your hands off of this situation. We're trying to in the name of white Jesus.
Jeremy, that's another show. I know you do 3 shows a week.
you know, I knew our difference was gonna come out at some point today. There it was. There it is. I'm gonna be humorous now. But anywho, man. So now I'm honestly still thinking about, and I'm really hoping and truly believing that this can be something that comes to fruition sooner than later. Just that notion of us, like, how powerful would it be for us to get 7 friends together, 7 strongly business-minded people, 7 people, 7 people of, I just threw out the number 7. 7 sounds like a good number. I could say 9. That's my birthday. Or 11. That's another, beautiful number to me. But let's say 7, 9, or 11 people to come together, people of color to come together and say, here's my $10,000. Here's my $5,000. Let's go into a bank. So what? 11 times 5 is what? Is 55,000? Yep. Here's our 55,000. We're going to buy up this home right here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to create something within the home. It might be a daycare, might be it might be, what else, Shanell? What could it be? It could be a rental property,
a family home that you rent out. You take the profits from that home and then you purchase another one. And I mean, I just want the viewers to know these are actual conversations Jeremy and I have had. And I honestly believe we are going to do that one day. We can
it's in the making. Trust and believe. And so while we're talking about it, and in Shanell telling y'all that these are conversations we've had, we want you to know that if you are someone who thinks with a collective mindset the way we do, because the thing is, Shanell and I, we've been friends for a year or so, but it's bigger than Shanell and I. We've decided to put aside maybe some of our own personal differences, and we work well, and we realize that we work well together as a team. So Shanell, I want to bring this little scenario in.
Okay.
Because it's almost time for us to roll out. How you feeling, by the way? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great. Only that part about the little, the Jesus character, when both my parents are pastors. So when I see you, you're gonna catch these hands. Please
understand. Just like yours are, mine are too. And they get some of their nerves, but they know I love them. I ain't, love don't change, but I just got to do what works for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
But yes, mine are too. Shoot, like they trust me. I'll preach you a Jesus sermon in a minute.
I know you can.
Not on this platform. But no, like, speaking of individualism versus collectivism, I'm thinking back to, and the audience doesn't know this. I think it's okay to share this with them. I have to. The thing about being an individual is I think we can be so caught up in being an individual that we could miss out on something, mm-hmm. or an opportunity, or I'm gonna stop with those 2 words. Something, or even an opportunity, or even a person that could be good for us. Mm-hmm. Because we're so caught up in, and I can be that way. Shanell has done an amazing job of helping me realize that even though I strongly value my individualism, that there are times when that has to be folded. Mm-hmm. It has to be folded and adjusted for the sake of the greater good, you know? And so I'm thinking about, Shanell, just our conversation on, how do we want this platform right here to be set up? Do we want this platform to be set up as something that people can really grow from and be, be nurtured by, or do we want to draw the ratchets, encouraging, twerk. And so I thank you for that, Shanell, for just helping me to understand that, while I am an individual, a strong, singularly minded individual, that sometimes it's okay to say, you know what, there's a greater good that can be gained from while acknowledging my individualism, working more collectively with other people and other groups.
And
Shanell, Shanell, I think Jeremy is a preacher. He doesn't know it.
I was going to say he's a politician.
I do know it. I just
that Jesus person he talking about, that just came out. He talking about the collective good, and we in Bible study.
Absolutely.
And I think the reality is, they say without a vision the people perish.
Absolutely.
And so that is the problem. I think I'm just listening to you guys talking. That just keeps hitting me. Like, we have all the good intentions, but if we don't see the end from the beginning and then exercise a little faith walking, then we're scared to do what you guys are talking about. I'm thinking the $10,000 scenario. There's plenty of Black folk that got $10,000, but the problem is they don't see, okay, how am I gonna get this 10,000 back plus something else, plus something for me. I don't know about the community, but I'm just trying to make sure I protect my $10,000. We don't see it as seed money. We see it as me money. And so, we have to get past that and have a vision. And that is the obligation of those of us who have that business mind to put that vision out. Like, if you give me this $10,000, this is what it's going to do for our community.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know I'm super excited about the moment I get my 10,000 in my hand. I trust this woman. I trust Shanell. She has presented to me a strong business mind. And I just know that, together, and then of course I've got another wonderful girlfriend over in California, and we're just like, we're ready to take the world by storm, because, it's either we grow or perish.
Yes.
We grow or we perish. And right now, it hurts for me to say it hurts me to say this, but I feel like we've been perishing. Not all of us, but collectively, I feel like we're perishing. But the same way that narrative is occupies a space in my mind, I know that we have the power and the potential to rewrite that narrative, and that's what we're going to do.
Yes. One thing I wanted to say, Jeremy, when you talk about this platform, for me, this platform is bring the important things to our community to their attention and lead by example. The things that we talk about, we actually bring to fruition, and then we allow other people to join us in that work. You talked about the letter, but you didn't say you actually wrote a letter. These things I actually see him do, that he's very passionate about it. And one of those things that we're different in, I'm more of a reserved person. So he'll jump out and he'll state his case and his opinion. And I'll be more like, I don't want to upset too many people. So I'm not going to say too much about it. So our friendship allows me to grow in that aspect of, stating my opinion and how I feel about these different things that happen. So it's just by actually sharing your knowledge with the community. Absolutely. Even though it may be 20 viewers on tonight, but we see where we have 400, 500 views, you are bringing the information to the people, and that's like a call to action in a sense, because once you are educated on a topic, you have an opportunity to make your own decision and how you're going to move forward.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Dr. Mark, we're going to ask you to give us some closing thoughts.
Oh man, I think the closing thought for me is it can be done, and Barack gave us inspirational quote years ago, and we just have to take what the ancestors have done for us and actually build and not just rest on it. And unfortunately, they've built so much for us that we have a quasi sense of comfortableness, and we have to we get daily reminders that we still have much more work to do. And so for every black man and black woman that is victimized by the system, we remember them and we salute them and we honor their sacrifice, but we also understand that those are reminders just as much as our blood pressure reading that we have work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Shanell, what are your thoughts? Closing.
My thoughts, I think tonight's conversation was very thought-provoking. When you think about individualism and collectivism, they both have a place. But right now, when you think about our community, it's a time for us to come together. Everybody needs to put their ideals on the table and know that they have a place at this table. And let's work together and make a difference for, the society at hand.
Come together right now over me. That's exactly it, y'all. I'm a firm believer that, more than anything right now, we need to come together.
Yes.
I was sharing with a friend of mine earlier today, and he's right. He says, you can't stand the truth. It's not that I can't stand the truth. Sometimes the truth is hard to digest, right? But yeah, I mean, let me take a minute. Let me swallow it. Let me stir it up a little bit. Maybe mix it with a little bit of honey, and then I can deal with it. It's the truth. And the truth is good. And the truth is right now, we are desperately in need to unite forces. As we were talking, he said, how this friend of mine is not black, but he says, the reason why the white people feel like they can pick y'all off so easily is because y'all do it to yourselves. And that hurt. To hear him say that hurts so much, but it's true. Mm-hmm. We're so quick to, and this is a conversation that I had with a friend. We thank you, Noel. Noel says, great topic, great show, and great facilitators. Thank you, Noel. Noel, we appreciate you. Appreciate it. We're gonna be calling on you, Noel. Okay, we're gonna be calling on you. And Anthony, Amonte says, great show. Thank you so much, Amonte. I was speaking with a gentleman last night, and we were talking about the fact that, it can be 10 cops beating on one black person. It'll be 20 black people in the crowd. Mm-hmm. And all 20 will have video cameras out, all recording. But then it's so easy for 5 black men to gang up on another black man and beat our own down. I try not to judge it too much because I understand where it comes from. We've been taught to be this way. We've been taught to distrust each other. We've been taught to hate each other. We've been taught to see ourselves as better than and more than. But at what point do we say that's harmful teaching and we're going to reteach ourselves how to love? Brother, you mentioned that earlier, Mark. I love that you brought that word in, how to love. At what point do we say, you know what, this ain't right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And love is what we need. Love is the principle that we need to be operating in to take our collectivism to the next level. Mm-hmm. I challenge you, ladies and gentlemen, let's love each other enough to share the goodness that was a part of this presentation tonight. Share this presentation with at least one other person. And if we do that, if we each do that, then the message will get out. The message will get out. And we can start building that community that we're talking about. Okay? We'll find those 7, 9, 11 people that say, you know what? I have $10,000. I was just going to buy me a Prada bag with it, knowing I don't get nothing about their black behind. Okay? But imagine the good that can be done with Lincoln, your 10,000, with my 10,000, with Chanel's 10,000, with Dr. Mark's 10,000, and now we got 100,000, and we're able to go in and purchase 50 acres or whatever we decide to do as a community. Because at the end of the day, if we're not building our own, then we're tearing down, and we don't have time for that. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, let's remember to spread love, be love, live as though tomorrow may never come, because all we got is right now, and we need to make now count. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this broadcast. Dr. Mark, I thank you. My wonderful co-host, Glamorous Shanell, I love you. I thank you. To our audience, our listening and viewing audience, we thank you. I hope you've enjoyed your cocktail. I've enjoyed mine. I think it was, my little tea was very delicious and nutritious. And until next week, guys, if you have, Chanel, I almost forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Oh, Chanel.
I was going to say, no, we're not going to end like that. But thank you, Pastor Johnson. That was amazing. Dr. Mark, did you see the pastor come out of him?
It came out.
That was an amazing closing. But I am not going to let you close without you sharing that outstanding, amazing book that is coming out soon. Give the people the information about your book. And as he does that, please make sure to visit www.chanellee.com. You can connect with me and see all the great books that I've written and the events that I will be at during this month and the following months. Jeremy, tell me.
Anything you want to plug? Dr. Mark?
Huh?
Anything you want to plug?
Not yet. No, not yet. I'm just working on being consistent. I'm just
Got you. I like you, dude. I think you're a good dude. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I had to think about it. Like, no, I can't let y'all go without knowing about my. Man, I'm so excited. I saw my little artwork today. Man, y'all, I'm so excited. Please, my new book, Intimacy from His View: What Black Men Have to Say About Privacy. Yes, it is this close to being in your hands, okay? You're gonna feel
I can get the ebook, hard copy. Just give me something to chew on. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited about this book. I see the place of this book in our society. And I know I keep being teased about being a minister or a preacher. I am a minister. I just have we all have our ministry. And my ministry is healing the Black male community, because God knows we've been through so much trauma, And so my prayer is that God will use what he's, given me, allow me to use what he's given me, she's given me, it's given me to give back to our community and strengthen us as men, because if we're strong as men, then we can lead the masses. You know what I'm saying? So if you're interested in knowing more about my book, you can either email me at j.da.prince, j.da.prince, PRYNCE. Chanel, can you type that anywhere? Can you type that for me? j.da.prince at gmail.com. You can info me there. Or if you're a Facebook friend of mine, just shoot me a little message in Facebook and say, hey, I want to know more about your book and how I can pre-order it. Because right now I'm accepting pre-orders. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, in July is on and popping. I am your new author on the scene, and I'm about to rip some shit up. Yeah. That part. So,
all right, guys, good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, good night. We thank you so much. We love you. And we're going to take y'all out with a little tune.
Dr. Mark, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom with everyone. I really learned a lot about you as a person, but also your mindset. So thank you for sharing that with everyone.
Thank you. Feel free to invite me anytime.
All right.
And you are invited. You've already got it. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.
Good night.